It was released last Friday. It has 21 tracks, 6 different features with big name artists as well. And on Friday alone, the album had 73 million streams on Spotify, which is the biggest Spotify debut of 2020 so far, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that a guy like Juice WRLD is making better music, even though he's gone, than guys that are still alive. That's just mind-blowing to me. Yeah, that happens to me a lot, actually, because like you're so anxious to do something in the morning and like you just want it to come right away because you're ready for it like before you go to sleep, I guess.
Exactly.
And then you just can't sleep. So, but then I guess when it comes to like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., you're like, I should probably get like an hour in.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's funny, but it happens all the time to me. But like, I think everyone's schedule is really messed up now. But
Yeah, because of the virus and
yeah,
everything.
because of the virus. Yeah, but hey, I think phase 3 starts on Friday. So like movie theaters are gonna open up in certain areas. I'm not sure if Oakville and Milton are a part of that yet, but I think theaters, a bunch of like summer camps. I think more restaurants are opening up as well. So I don't know if that's gonna cause more cases. It probably will, and it's probably too early for that still, but I guess we'll find out what happens there.
I mean, I feel like the government's kind of been on top of this, like with the whole virus thing. Uh, Maybe it's a bit too early, but I don't think it's early enough to make it any
Yeah.
worse than it is.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, you're right
Yeah.
about that. I think it kind of is about time that we make a move
Hmm.
like this, just because like it's only a matter of time before people really need to start going out and socializing with people, and we have to take steps to
Yeah,
recovery at some point. So I guess maybe now is the time. I do think there will be a second wave coming soon.
I think so too. But I think it's also kind of a health matter because there have been a small number of deaths in people who have been like stuck at home for so long. Like
Okay.
they kind of choose not to move because, staying at home just kind of makes you lazy, I guess.
Yeah.
But they've gotten blood clots and stuff like that. So I heard about one person actually, he was like in his 20s and he passed away from blood clots like that. So
Jeez.
unfortunate, but
Oh my God. Yeah.
another thing
Yeah.
that we just kind of have to watch out for.
Yeah, crazy times for sure that we're
Yeah.
living in right now. Welcome back to Unlimited, episode number 7. I got a guest, Talal Hasan, early morning podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm not bad, a bit tired, but you know what it is.
Got to deal with it. Apologies if we seem a little bit sleepy or still have some sleep in our eyes or something, but hey, we're going to make it work, and we're ready to do this. We got some great topics that we're discussing today. Before you guys, jump into the episode, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, comment if you want. We're also on Spotify. If you don't have, that Wi-Fi to watch it on YouTube, you can always download the podcast on Spotify and listen to it anywhere you go. So yeah, anyways, back to Talal. Talal's a big music guy, so I had to get him on because this is a very different podcast. I'm more used to doing sports, obviously, or other subjects. Haven't really touched on music at all. So this is a music podcast. If you didn't understand by the title of this podcast, we're going to be talking about 3 different albums today. And like I said, something I've never really touched on at all before. We're going to give it a try, see how it goes. But before we jump into the albums, I want, Talal to maybe give a little bit of a background about how much he knows about music and how he's, like his interest in music. What songs do you listen to? What genres are your favorite? And I guess, what are you currently listening to? What are you jamming out to?
All right. So, what do I know about music? Okay, so the last time I made a song was like 2014, so grade 9.
I didn't even know you made a song. That's cool.
I had like 4 of them, but obviously, like, they were kind of, what's the word? Like amateurish?
Like garage band
Yeah, yeah.
soundtracks.
Yeah, it wasn't like in with instruments, but it was like with Audacity and like
Oh,
taking
okay.
snippets of other songs, kind of blending them together,
Nice.
and then doing stuff like that. But yeah, that's the last time I made anything of the sort. So I don't know a huge deal, but like I have my own certain interests, and I like it when certain artists like work kind of towards those interests, even if not the whole song is towards that interest, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Uh, as far as my genres go, I don't have any genre in specific that I like overall. I guess you could say that about rap, maybe, uh, but not really anything else. Uh, as far as what I'm listening to right now, let's go through my iTunes playlist. Okay, so at the very top, "In Your Eyes" by The Weeknd.
Okay, yeah, that's a banger.
Good
That's a good
song,
one.
good song. It's amazing. Uh, there's also "Since Last Night." Actually, I'll leave that until later. I'll leave that
Okay.
until later.
Are
But
you a
actually,
bit are you a big fan of The Weeknd, you'd say?
a huge fan of The Weeknd. Yeah, like I think in the first good song that I liked from him was what's it called? "Can't Feel My Face."
Oh yeah, I Can't Feel My Face. Yeah.
That was an amazing song, and then since then it's just kind of gone up. Like there was "6 Feet Under," there was uh "Call Out My Name," songs
Yeah.
like that. And like I love those songs.
And then
uh
now like the TikTok song Blinding Lights, that kind of took off by The Weeknd as well.
oh yeah, it
Um
really did.
and
But
then also
because of
oh yeah,
that, I
go.
don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it because it was on TikTok.
Yeah, because of how much
Yeah.
it was used, you just hear it everywhere. It's like,
Honestly true. That is facts, yeah. And then also The Weeknd was featured in Black Panther as well. They were part of that soundtrack.
uh
Um they did
like
I think Pray for Me, right? Pray for Me.
was
That's
it? I think so. I think so. And it had the really futuristic the futuristic vibe to it. It was really nice.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
he was also on the Game of Thrones album.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, "Power is Power."
Yeah, he's had some really big opportunities there with
Yeah,
the movies and TV. So, and he's
and
from
he's
Canada
done.
too.
Yeah, he's done amazing with those opportunities too. Like
Yeah.
honestly, I'm blown away constantly.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we're not going to talk too much about The Weeknd today, but let's move on to our first album of discussion, and it was one that was released on last Friday, and it's Juice WRLD, and the album is called Legends Never Die. The album has taken off already just in 5 days. We're recording this on the following Tuesday. So obviously, first things first. I guess when I even brought up this idea to Talal about doing a podcast about Legends Never Die, his first reaction was, "Wait, isn't Juice WRLD gone? Isn't he? Didn't he die?" And yeah, he did pass away. He passed away in December of 2019. But for some reason he still seems to release songs consistently, and that's just a credit to how hard he worked while he was still here. So I guess throughout this emotional album, he talks about so much of the things that he was going through, dealing with mental illness and addiction, drugs. So he really shares that message through the lyrics of a bunch of these songs. And like I said before, this album has really done well just in 5 days. It was released last Friday. It has 21 tracks, 6 different features with big name artists as well. And on Friday alone, the album had 73 million streams on Spotify, which is the biggest Spotify debut of 2020 so far, which is crazy. It's crazy to think that a guy like Juice WRLD is making better music, even though he's gone, than guys that are still alive. That's just mind blowing to me. Um, so I think the first like song that stood out, and this wasn't released on Friday. This was released, I believe, a week before the album, but it's "Life's a Mess." "Life's a Mess" is an extremely emotional song, and we're gonna get into some of the lyrics later. it was also released with an insane music video. I don't know if you saw the music video, Talal,
I
but
don't know.
the visual was great. There was a painter basically painting a picture throughout the entire video, and then
Hmm.
once you get to the end, it's just a masterpiece that he painted. So I won't spoil it for anyone, but go check that out. So first things first, I'll just get Talal's thoughts on Life's a Mess. What did you think of the song?
Okay, I'm trying to remember the name. So Life's a Mess was the one with Halsey, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
featuring Halsey.
Okay. So the lyrics were pretty what can I say, real.
Yeah.
Uh like I don't know, you just kind of felt what he was going through that song.
Mm-hmm.
And you could kind of relate it back to yourself in a way. Like no matter where you come from, like it was I feel like it's a song for everyone. Uh but other than just the lyrics, like it had some insane flow. Uh and you could silently, or not silently, but faintly hear Halsey in the background singing along with the melody, and I thought that was a really nice twist to it. Like at first, I thought that was the only part where she was singing, but then you get to the end, and then Halsey's part comes in, and that was also really good.
Yeah, you're
So,
right about that because I think it was the second verse where you faintly hear Halsey
mhm.
singing along with Juice in the chorus, and then um, it did kind of catch me off guard when Halsey came in at the very end as well because the instrumental carried on for a long while, and
Yeah,
I thought that the song was going to end right there. But then Halsey comes in with another insane verse, and I mean it just took the song to another level.
yeah, exactly.
They flowed really nicely together.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, Halsey's a big name artist as well, so she deserves a
Yeah,
lot of credit for going on this song. Juice can get a bunch of different features, and I think you know it doesn't matter what genre these artists are comfortable doing. I think they all flow nicely with Juice for some reason.
yeah.
Um,
Just a testament to how good he was.
Exactly. And I think, one of the main things that um, caught my attention about the song was just like that dreamy kind of feel to it. I think, Juice has that in a lot of his songs,
Hmm.
but it just feels like otherworldly, like the melody, the beats that he uses. I don't know how he does it, but it's so dreamy. His songs, even like Lucid Dreams, like that song was just so like I never heard anything like it. It was crazy. Like the feels, the vibe was ridiculous. Um, let's look at some of the lyrics that stood out because obviously he had some really really good lyrics in this song. Uh, so obviously the song starts off with "Have you ever fallen head over heels for somebody?" and so he says that and then he's just like not just somebody and I think that works really nicely because like he's talking about yeah, you can fall head over heels, you can fall in love with somebody, but then he's also saying yeah, but it's not just somebody, like it's more than that. So he emphasizes that. So have you ever fallen head over heels for somebody? Okay,
Good
okay.
question.
I won't even go there. um the next lyric, and this one hits hard because obviously Juice was he was addicted to a lot of different drugs, and that's basically what took him out in the end. And whenever you hear a Juice WRLD lyric about drugs or him getting high or getting upset, that kind of hits hard. So the next lyric is "I get high when I'm upset." It's just that simple, but it's in the chorus. It's the second line in the chorus. And what are your thoughts on that line? What are your thoughts on, I guess, Juice opening up about all of this stuff with his fans?
I think that it's a pretty honorable thing to do because at the level that Juice was, he was kind of in the spotlight of the world, right? So just being able to admit uh, that he had his own flaws that he was dealing with, that he was trying to fix, was it's just an insane concept that honestly I don't know if I could ever do. And considering this man did it, I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great on him to think about, how he really put his fans first, and he made sure that, you know, even though he was going through all this difficult times, he didn't want his fans to go through that, and he wanted his fans to, I guess, learn from his experience. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that line obviously hits hard. And then the third line that really stood out was, you just got to learn to live and love on. So like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what happens in like a relationship or your life, um, you know, you have to just find a way to push through in some way. And that's what that line means. You just got to learn from it and, you know, live your life and still love on throughout the tough times. You know, I guess that kind of ties back to just the whole trust aspect. Like, even though someone doesn't, like something happens and you start not trusting someone, like you can't just be like, okay, I'm not going to trust anyone from now on. You know, you have to move on in some way like that. So a lot of big lyrics that stand out in this song. Um, I I think this song is probably still on repeat for me. Like, I was listening to this a lot. Um, it's such a good flow. The bass drop hits so hard as well. Going into the chorus, there's probably a bunch of different lyrics that I forgot to mention here, but it was just overall a really good song, and it's doing numbers as well. Like I said, the video is great. Tal, do you have any final thoughts on Life's a Mess?
I think it was just a good song overall. Like, I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's move on to I guess Life's a Mess is probably the second best song, one or two probably, I would say. 1A, 1B with Wishing Well, which is the next song that we're going to touch on. Wishing Well was featured a couple of songs after Life's a Mess on the album. Um, I mean, the response to this song has been crazy because it's probably the most emotional song on the album, and he talks about so much of what he was going through, and, you know, mental illness and depression a lot. And I think this song is probably the most relatable out of any song on the album. And, you know, a lot, like I said, like a lot of people can relate to it and are going through this right now, so it's a good message. I think the first lyric that stood out to me, I don't know if you caught this, but just "I can't breathe" right at the beginning. And not just because like it's a tough lyric to listen to, but because of also what's going on in the world right now with the whole Black Lives Matter thing. That's the whole slogan, I guess, right? That's what the guys have on their shirts. That's what George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe." So it's just crazy to me how, even though Juice is gone, he still tied in that lyric. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, "I can't breathe." That's probably one of the most popular sayings in the world right now.
Like, he
And
probably didn't see that it would become this big, but
yeah,
I don't know.
it's just mind blowing to me. Like that's ridiculous that he recorded this before he passed away. Um, unless somehow like auto tune they brought in that line, but it's just crazy to me how that line was not only featured in the song, but was the opening line, was in the chorus. Like that's ridiculous. I still can't believe that. I think that happens at various points in this song as well. You're just like, how in the world did he record this before passing away? So I think the second line that stood out was, "I still try even though I'm going if sorry, I'll say it again. I still try even though I know I'm going to fail." And, you know, the one thing that sticks out about this line is that, you know, you can try to do things even though you know that there's a slim chance of you actually doing it right, doing it the right way. But this line is saying that he's still going to try even though he knows that he's going to fail for sure, but he still tries anyways. So I don't think I've ever really heard that saying put that way. Like, I know people say like, yeah, don't give up even though the chances are like slim to none. But he's literally saying he's going to try even though he's 100% sure he's going to fail. So That's a bar. That's a big line as well. Do you have any thoughts on those first two lines? I can't breathe and I still try, even though I know I'm gonna fail.
I will say, for "I Can't Breathe,"
Yeah.
it was a surprise to hear that right at the beginning of the song. Like, it made me do a double take. Like, I got that far in the song, went completely back and played it all over again because I was like, I didn't just hear that, did I?
Yeah.
It was like I did.
Yeah.
It was surprising, but I think a kind of good kind of surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as if like this song is kind of meant to deal with kind of the problems that we're facing like right now at this very moment. uh as far as I still try even though I know I'm gonna fail. uh I didn't know what to make of that. Like, I think well, at first I didn't know what I was trying to make of it, but what I'm getting from it is he's just kind of putting himself in that mindset where even though he knows he's going to fail, he's still going to do it because what if there's a chance that
Yeah.
I can do it?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Straight up. I think that's what everybody needs to do. And like, even if you're at like a low point in your life, like Juice was, you still have to try because there is a chance that, it does work out in the end. And, look at what happened with the Avengers when they tried to beat Thanos, right? Like 1 in 14,605,000, like what? And it worked out. It worked out. They got the dub in the end. So anything can happen. And I guess, all that Juice is trying to say is don't give up. And you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it and you work hard at it.
Mm-hmm.
The next lyric I have here is probably the one that hit me the hardest. And this is the most relatable line too, I would say, right? This is the lyric is, "This is the part I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry." I don't know if I should have said that a little bit better, I think.
Nah,
It's like
nah.
this is the part
It's
where I tell you I'm fine, but I'm lying. I just don't want you to worry. And
it's a hard
yeah,
hitting line.
it is a hard hitting line. Um, but like I said, I think so many people do that. Like even me, like I can relate
Mm-hmm.
to that for sure. This is, sometimes you're going through something and you just don't want other people to know about it because you're scared about how they're going to react, because like you said, you don't want them to worry, or you just want to keep it to yourself because it's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, do you have any thoughts about that line?
No, just that
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
tough
amazing.
one,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But then again, it just goes to show, the impact that Juice has had on his fans and how much that his experience can relate to his fans' experience. So I'm just happy that he was able to put that in the song as well. I think there
yeah.
was like a second part to that line as well. I think it's this is the part where I hide all my feelings, and because I just don't want you to hurt me. So he's not only he doesn't want his people to worry, but he doesn't want to get hurt as well.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's just sad to hear. Um, the next line that I have is, "If it wasn't for the pills, I wouldn't be here. And if I keep taking these pills, I won't be here. I just told y'all my secret." So his secret is that what I got out of it at least, is that he knew that he was going to die. Like, either way, he knew that if he kept taking the pills, he would die, and if he didn't, then he would die as well. So like he's kind of coming to terms with it, with that line, and I think that's his secret. Am I missing something there? Do you think there's anything else that he could be trying to say with that line?
Not that I can see. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That's also just another.
Another really hard hitting line.
Yeah, I wanted to say tough pill to swallow, but
Oh man.
that's not the time. Not the time.
Not the
Um, I guess, you know, Wishing Well and Life's a Mess were probably the two top songs of the album in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
Another song that I have been listening to a lot is Conversations. That was, I think, the second song of the album, and
Yeah, right
it's
after the
yeah,
interlude.
it's pretty catchy as well. Not too many hard hitting lines. It's more of like a fun kind of upbeat song, I would say.
Yeah, it just has this straight flow to it.
Yeah, it's really catchy. And
Hmm.
then there's a couple other songs as well that are, okay. They're like I think, the one thing that does catch my attention about this album is the fact that he had that opening at the beginning, and then even the final, I guess, song or message that he has at the end. I think it's called Juice WRLD Speaks from Heaven. And like it's just crazy how like he recorded this before he passed away. He definitely knew something was up. He knew that, his life was coming to an end and he was going to die young, so he had to release these messages to his fans. But in that song or that message, he literally says, I'm in heaven right now. I'm FaceTiming my fans from heaven. But then he corrects himself saying, I'm Instagram living my friends from heaven. And it's like he's still alive. It's like he's talking to us right now. So
Hmm.
that one was pretty crazy
Yeah.
as well. Do you have any final thoughts on Juice WRLD before we move on to another album?
I think that as a rapper, he had a lot of great work that he did, particularly from the past albums. Maze has been one of my favorite songs, and then another he did with Ellie Goulding, Hate Me.
Okay.
Another two good songs right there. Like he did some really good, amazing work out there, and it's really sad to it was really sad to hear about his passing. And I do think that in part he had an idea that he was about to pass away. So uh, I really hope that he did get to complete the things that he wanted to do before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I think, yeah, that last outro, that was really crazy to hear.
Yeah, I think, the one um, thing that everyone would want when they pass is for people to remember them. And I
Hmm.
think, Juice has definitely done that. I think, that's probably the biggest compliment. When you're still gone, you're still, making an impact on life down here, and you're changing people's lives. And that is what Juice has done through his music. So I really credit him for, making these songs basically for after he passed away. So he has all those songs in the can for him to release, consistently, like I said before, consistently after he passes away. So I really wonder how many more songs he still has to release, how many albums he's gonna release in the future. But yeah, it is, obviously it's extremely disappointing because he had so much potential, and it's sad to see, him not here anymore. Um, and it's just so sad to hear all of this after the fact about what he was going through. And it's a very emotional album, and I think as of right now, it's probably the album of the year, I would say. I don't know if you can beat that. I think from an emotional standpoint, it's definitely the most hard hitting. It doesn't get more emotional than this, but it's sad to see him gone. But legends never die, like Juices has said with the album title, "Legends Never Die." So yeah, make sure you guys keep streaming the album. It's a great song. Take a listen to "Life's a Mess," "Wishing Well," um, and a bunch of those other songs. And yeah, shout out to Juice WRLD. Let's move on to KSI. This is very different.
Very
Uh,
different.
because KSI is a YouTuber,
Yeah.
and he also does music. He does boxing. Um, but everyone knows him for his YouTube videos and his like reaction videos. I think, growing up, he was big on FIFA. That's kind of what really took him off by storm. Just his crazy celebrations, all that stuff. And his laugh is contagious, obviously. I don't know if you
Yeah.
watch much KSI, but his laugh is ridiculously contagious and hilarious. Um, like I said, he does boxing as well. But he's also done a fair bit of music as well in the past few years. He's really stepped up his music game. And he released a duo or a duet album, I think 2 years ago with Randolph. That was pretty good. It's called New Age. But this past May 22nd, he released his first solo album with 12 tracks on it, 4 more on the deluxe version as well, with some huge features on it. It's called Dissimulation. And I would say it's probably one of my favorite albums of this year as well. It's a pretty good song, and I'm actually surprised that it's a pretty good album, and I'm surprised that KSI being a YouTuber was able to pull this off the way he did. I don't know if I'm just speaking for myself here, if that's what other people are thinking as well, but KSI, I think he really, really put his name out there with this album. What are your thoughts on it, Talal?
I think overall, I like the album, even though I was kind of iffy about it at first. Like I remember back in May when you asked me if I heard a certain song from it, I said I did, but I didn't like it too much. And now after actually listening to the album, uh, I can confidently say overall I like the album, but there was one song that kind of stuck out to me over the rest of them, and that was Down Like That. I was
Okay,
trying
yeah.
to remember the name. No, that song is amazing. See, there's another artist on that track, SX.
SX, yeah.
Uh,
Another
and
UK guy.
yeah, some people have actually called him the British Weekend,
Oh,
actually.
okay. Oh, they
Yeah.
kind of sound similar. They
Similar,
sound very
yeah.
similar, yeah.
They have a similar kind of
Tone of
what's it called?
voice. Like high
Yeah.
pitchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And able to change their tone of music as well. So it's really good. But I think that was why I liked that song so much, because of his part in that.
Okay.
Like just starting off strong.
I think
So
I
yeah.
think I know you bring up that SX part, but I think that was probably the part that a lot of people were most critical of,
Oh
because
really?
SX is, not known in mainstream or in the US specifically. And I don't know if you knew, but the first time Down Like That was like released, it was released the day before the KSI Logan Paul 2 fight. So that's when it first got released to the public, and then it was actually played while KSI was walking out to the ring that night as well. SX, Rick Ross, and Lil Baby, they were all singing that song inside the ring while KSI was walking out. So that's what made it blow up, and I think that's why it was such a big success. But because it got so much publicity, it also makes for a lot of critics on it as well.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think, Rick Ross obviously killed this part. Lil Baby was pretty good on the part as well. KSI was great too. I think KSI
Yeah.
really fit that song. I want that knockdown. That is a pretty powerful line that
Yeah.
he starts off with there. But the SX part, in my opinion, it was a good performance by SX. But I
Hmm.
think just the fact that a lot of people weren't familiar with him, and I guess it was really like high pitchy at the beginning too.
That's
it
true.
it made for a lot of critiques about it, but I think it worked. I think you get used to it. Maybe I think
Yeah.
the first time I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is a little bit much. I think this is a bit too high. But then if you listen to it more, then you kind of get it.
Yeah, the first time I listened to it, I think I wasn't paying attention at the very first couple of seconds, and then all of a sudden the song started up hard, and I was like, "Oh wait, what song is this?" So I started playing it all over again, and I was like, then I was paying attention. I was like, wait, what is this part? I didn't hear this part before. And then it started up again, and I was like, huh, I
Yeah.
don't know. But I kind of like it. It's like a good contrast. Like it starts off slow, then picks up really quickly.
Yeah, I really like it too. It's still on my playlist right now, even though it was released in November. It's
Hmm.
crazy how that song was released in November. It feels like it was just a couple months ago.
Yeah, it
But
does.
anyways, there's 11 more songs on this album, and um, I think another song that stood out to me was Houdini. And I think I did send you this song as well, but
Hmm.
this one has more of like a UK type vibe to it.
Yeah.
Tion Wayne and Storms are featured on it as well. And you know, this song is I would say it's probably right below Down Like That. I say, like, I don't think you can beat Down Like That just because of the features that he had on it and like
Hmm.
where it was played. Like it was played at the biggest internet event in history potentially. So I think, just the history behind it, you have to put it at number one. But then Houdini was great as well. Um, the flows, the chorus at the beginning is so catchy. And then KSI's part was great too. It also became very popular on TikTok as well. You can make a bunch of uh, TikToks about that song. Too bad TikTok's dying now, but
Oh yeah,
it's
because
for
of
the
the
better.
whole controversies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I deleted it a while ago actually because I was just getting too tired of it and just going through all those same songs every single day. Like it got
Oh
a bit
yeah.
annoying for me. Anyways, back to KSI. Any songs that stood out to you in specific about the album?
I'd say the one I'd rate second in my list would be Cap, the one featuring Offset.
Cap. Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
That was I like the flow that they had in between each other. Like it wasn't as if they needed a huge kind of cut between each of their parts. It was almost su- like sudden changes between each other, and I really like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think Offset killed his part. I
Hmm.
think I think KSI did really well on like his verse as well. Um, I think the chorus, in my opinion, could have been a bit better. I
I think yeah,
I'm trying to remember the chorus.
yeah,
I think it just got a bit too like it's like with no cap, with no cap, with no cap. I think he could have done something else with that. Like it didn't hit me in any way. I think it was just like it was too bland, the chorus in some way. And then there wasn't really too big of a bass drop as well, as much as I would have liked there to be.
mm,
But I mean, whenever you get Offset on a song, he's gonna kill his part. So that's probably
yeah,
my favorite part of the song. And then even KSI's verse was good. I think he handled himself really well. They also released a music video to that song. It was really well done. Um, so yeah, that's a good song as well. Another one is Killa Killa, featuring Ayana Lee.
Oh,
And
that was a really good one too.
like her part's great, and yeah, KSI did well on that as well. I
Hmm.
think there's a music video actually coming out for that song on Friday because KSI said that if Houdini reached 31 million streams on Spotify, he would release a music video. So that's coming out on Friday. So that should be good. And I don't know how he filmed the music video during quarantine, but should be interesting to see. Maybe it's like animated or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. That's another big song that stood out. Um, so I think we're both in agreement that the best song on the album was "Down Like That."
Yeah,
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, I would say so too. Let's move on to the last song of the album, which is called "Millions," and this is a song that really showed us a different side of KSI. He talked a little bit about the drama with Deji, even though he didn't say Deji's name. He talked about that. I guess that's what a lot of people assume it was, and it does sound like it. He definitely was talking about that. Then on the second half of the song, he talked about it sounded like a girl, probably his girlfriend. Um, so obviously they went through a ton of stuff, him and Deji, the past 2 years, and he really opens up about that. We won't go into too specific details about the lyrics, but I just want to get your thoughts on this different side of KSI. Do you like that he kind of opened up? Because, you know, KSI is known to be the top guy on YouTube, be that
Mm-hmm.
confident guy, but we haven't seen that emotional side of him come out yet. Maybe other than his like response video to the whole Deji drama, where he did get really emotional, and that was like an hour-long video as well. I think it was last year that he released it. But other than that, we haven't really seen this side to him. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So personally, I didn't like it, but it's far from hate. It's kind of more don't feel anything to like kind of thing going on here. Uh, like the flow of the song was good, just not my thing, you know? But I think that just like any other song, certain people aren't going to like it, certain people are going to love it, some might even hate it. It happens. Can't please everyone. But I think that it was a good thing to get out because I think in certain cases, your emotions kind of make the music, right? So I think that bringing out kind of the emotions that he sometimes might be hiding inside is a good thing. Maybe if I don't like it right now,
Mm-hmm.
I might like another song that he'll make later with kind of the same uh, topic.
Yeah,
So I think it's a decent song overall, but it's not my favorite.
I think in terms of like like lyrically, I guess, or maybe not lyrically, because I think the lyrics were good. But I
Mm-hmm.
think in terms of like an overall song, it's not a song that you'd play in like your car or something. It's more of like that extra kind of song that you just throw in at the end of the album to kind of wrap
Mm-hmm.
it up. And the one thing that caught my attention was that he wasn't really singing the song. He was more just like speaking to us. Like he was just telling us
It's
about
true.
about
Yeah.
the whole Deji stuff, but it wasn't like he was singing, if that makes sense. Like just the way it just sounded like he was talking to us,
Yeah.
which is fine. And in my opinion, it is a good song, but you know, it just for a different audience. Like if you like hearing this emotional side of KSI, you'll like it. Um, but if you want more like upbeat or stuff like Houdini or down like that, then you're in a different boat, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so that goes to my next question. What tone of voice do you think KSI fits best?
In my opinion, the tone of voice he had in Down Like That easily, like immediately picking up right after SX's part. He just started off really strong and kept going throughout the whole song. I like that tone that he used there. Uh, I really want him to continue using that because I don't think I've seen it on any other song of his.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really liked it.
I think like with KSI, like you kind of get two sides to him. Or maybe three sides. You can get the UK type vibe, which we saw in
Mm-hmm.
Houdini. You can see like the hardcore rap, which is kind of what we saw in Down Like That. He didn't go too hard, but it flowed really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
But in a song like even On Point, his diss track on Logan a couple years ago, like that was he had some really fire bars in that one, and he rapped like really fast and stuff. And then you can get the emotional side like on Millions. Um, what what I think fits best is probably the Down Like That version as well. I think that works really well. Either that or how he was on Houdini. That whole like UK Nigerian kind of it kind of had like some African flows to it as well. Like he was talking with that accent in Houdini, and that worked really well too.
I
It was
can
like
never
that
figure out.
reggae.
Yeah, exactly. I can never figure out what I'm hearing in that part. Like, I know it's from the UK, but I can't figure out where it's kind of coming from, like what the roots of the actual style is.
Yeah. I think with Tion Wayne and Swarms, it's like it's all UK. But
Hmm.
then when KSI comes in, it's like you really get that African type beat. And it works really, really well.
Yeah,
And that's a summer song. Like you can play that in the car.
exactly.
It's a really good song and it's catchy. Um so I got one more question. I was going to mention the whole, because KSI said he would have gone bald if his album reached #1 on the charts. Quickly, do you think that he actually would have done that?
Debatable. He's a YouTuber. He might have.
Yeah.
Probably would have.
I think he's in love with his hair though. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
he could have just done it because like the fans really wanted it. But I think the fact that he got a #2 album is great for him, and he should be really
I
proud
think
of
it's
that.
amazing. Yeah.
So that kind of leads on to my next question. Do you think a YouTuber like KSI can eventually change the game for YouTube music and make it mainstream?
I think, yeah, he can, because I feel like he's been doing things a bit differently. Uh, like he went after the dream of becoming a rapper, and he's been doing really well in it because, I guess in a way he has more things and different things to talk about in his songs. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know how to explain it, but no, I definitely think he can change the game for music. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, he does have a lot of stuff to talk about, and a lot of stuff that that he can talk about personally, like his boxing stuff, if there's any drama that he's in. And this guy has money to talk about too. This guy brings in a lot of money, so he can say
Hmm.
those big things. He can drop those big bars about how much money he has, stuff that he's buying. Uh,
Exactly.
so I think I think he's definitely grown a lot in the past 3 years. Definitely changing up his vibes a little bit, not just being that hardcore rapper who can just rap fast, but changing different tones and stuff. I think he's very versatile, and the fact that he got a #2 album is great. So it's a big step in the right direction. Next album might be a bit tough to top this one, but I hope he can do it. I know he's got some songs coming up to be released soon. I think that's what he's saying. So I'm excited to see what's next for KSI, and I do think that he can change the game for YouTube. He's definitely the lead dog in that movement. So let's hope he does that. So let's move on to a guy who is very very established in the music industry, probably one of the best hip hop slash rap artists in the game, Travis Scott. And we haven't heard too much of him, I guess, recently in terms of a big album released. But we're going to talk about Astroworld. And this one was released in 2018, actually, in
Yeah,
August 3rd, 2018. And that is ridiculous how long ago it was. I believe I was in Sweden when this album was released. And it was released at like midnight Eastern time. And in Sweden, that's like, I think it's like 4 or 5 a.m. So I remember waking up at that time and like listening to a couple of songs on the album because I was just excited to hear it. And Sicko Mode, that was the one that stood out to me right away. Like that's insane. Obviously, Drake has influence on that because he's from Toronto, and I'm a big Drake fan. So his part was great on that song. Anyways, 17 songs on the album, 16 features. That's crazy. 16 features on
hmm
a 17-song album. It's like a feature per song. Um, what are your thoughts on the album? Because Talal wanted to talk about this one. Talal wanted to talk about this one. I know he's got some stuff to say on it, some songs that we want to get into a bit later. Do you have any opening thoughts, I guess, on this album, looking back on it 3 years later?
This song or this album made my first year of university. Like, I love this album. Like, I think I was one of those fiends who always had a song from this album playing when I wasn't doing anything.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, no, I definitely love this album a lot.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I think a lot of people, even in my program, were listening to songs from this album, and it's always a different song too, because there's so many different songs, or there's so many
Yeah.
good songs on this album. You can pick in between which one you want to listen to. Um, like I said, Sicko Mode is the best one on this album in terms of numbers. Um, it might not be the best song in our opinions, but
Yeah.
we're gonna find out now. What you think is the best song, or I guess your favorite song on this album?
Oh, this is difficult, but Houston Fornication.
Okay.
And it's not just because of
I
the
think
name.
that's a hot take. I think it is a hot take. Why do you like it? Why do you like it?
Okay, so I've timed this. So from the first second to the 35th second in that song,
Okay.
there's no background beat. It's him kind of just vibing, right?
Right.
But then at 35 seconds, the beat starts and it's really quick, and it picks up really quickly, and then immediately you hear him continuing on with the background, and it blows me away constantly. Like
Okay.
just that start and then the overall beat to the song, it's just a straight flow. Like I really
Nice.
love that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's an interesting take on it. I like how you timed that out. Honestly, I don't know much about that song. I have heard it. It's a good song. It is a good song. Do I think it's the best song? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's a good song. It's a good song. A song that stood out to me in specific is Can't Say. And I don't know if you heard that one, but no, it's a really good song. I would say it's probably my favorite song on the album. It's featuring Don Tolliver, and I think it just flows really nicely. Like you have that, it's very soft at the beginning when Travis is speaking. Or sorry, I think it's both of them actually. I think it's Scott and Don talking at the beginning. And then it's so soft, and then the bass drop kicks in, and like the chorus hits so hard. I think that's probably one of the most underrated songs on the album as well. And I think one of the things that stands out is like if you listen to a line in that song and the last word, Travis kind of puts like a twist on it, like a little bit of like an accent. So he'll say the line, and then on the last word, like it's just a different like tone once you get to the last word of the line on every sentence. He does that in the chorus. So take a listen to that and see if you know what I'm talking about. What do you think is the most underrated song on the album?
See, I can't exactly say, like, because the last time like I actually heard what other people thought of this album was like back in 2018, right?
Yeah.
But I'd say it was 5% Tint.
5% Tint. That's a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a really chill song straight from the beginning. And it did something different because it it started off with a really slow beat and kept it going for the whole song instead of like picking up like a bunch of the other songs did.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking at some of the other songs that he had on the album. Butterfly Effect. That one was released, I believe, a few years before Astroworld, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Right? Was it?
I don't know actually.
I feel like it was. But it's a very popular song by Scott. Let me look
Yeah.
it up. Another one that I know you wanted to talk about was Who What.
Oh, Who
And
What is another really good
it's
song.
the vibe is crazy at the beginning. And just it's kind of like Travis is having like a conversation with himself at the beginning of the song. What are your thoughts on it? What kind of sticks out to you?
So it's been a little bit from the last time I've heard the song, but
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember, I like the song because of the quick beat to it. I tend to like quicker music, I guess,
Yeah.
like quicker tempos, but I like that because of the certain bars that he had on the song itself. I love that song. It's
Yeah,
just been a while.
you're right. The chorus is very quick. And
Mm-hmm.
Butterfly Effect was released in 2018. So I guess I feel like I heard it before for some reason. Maybe it was released like a couple months prior.
Yeah, I think it was released as a single earlier in the year.
Yeah, maybe that's where I heard it from. Yeah. but that's a very popular song by Scott, as well as Goosebumps, but that one wasn't on Astroworld, but
Yeah.
that's a song that I
Another good
will
one.
always like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Who What? I agree with everything you said there. That was good. Why do you think Sicko Mode did so well? Do you think it's because there was Drake? Like obviously the beat was crazy good.
Yeah.
Travis killed his spot. Um, what kind of stands out to you on why maybe why the perception of that song was so great?
So I think so the whole reason why I like Sicko Mode was because it was so different from what a lot of other people had done in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it started off with one beat that you thought was going to continue transitioning into another beat, and you thought that that was it, but then it transitions again, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's
Oh
just
my
a
God. Yeah, you're
constant
right.
transition. Like, and I still go and watch the YouTube videos for some of the live performances he did, and you'll look at the comments and everyone's just making memes about the transitions and how quick they are. Like
Yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah. The Drake part at the beginning was like very soft. Sun is down, freezing cold, setting the mood, and
Yeah.
then you kick into to Scott with the woo. Made this here with all that ice out in the booth, and then Drake comes back in at the very end, and Drake's part is so catchy.
So
At the
good.
at the end of the end of the song, I want to try and pull up. Yeah, she's in love with who I am. Back in high school, I used to bust it to the day, and then like he just goes with that beat, that same timing and stuff throughout, and then the best part I think, and the best part that works like at a show is like a light, because then you can say like a light,
Oh
and then you can get the crowd to say like a light, like a light, like a light.
yeah.
So yeah, that's a banger. I can still listen to it this day. Like I can still play it on in the car and and listen to it and keep it on my playlist, because even 2 years later, it's still a very good song.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're coming to an end here. Uh, I got one more question for you about Scott. Do you think that Travis Scott is the best hip hop artist in the game?
Oh, that's a tough question.
It is tough.
It really is.
So many guys to work with, so many different flows.
Oh man. Okay, I think easily he's one of the top 10, I'd say. Like, but I
Yeah,
don't think that there's an explicit who's first, second, and third in this category now, because everyone like there's so many artists releasing such good work that it's so hard. So you're just kind of forced to kind of put them into this category where they're all in the top 10, but you don't know who is which number on that list. If you, yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's like whoever whoever just released an album and
hmm
whoever's killing it like at that time, then you can say that they're number one. But it's always like flip flopping. Like
yeah.
I
There's,
would say there is about 10 guys that can compete for that number one spot. You know,
mhm.
Juice WRLD is a guy who's still putting out good music. Drake can't
Oh
really
yeah.
say he's not in the top five at least.
Would
Uh,
the
the weekend,
weekend fit into this?
I would say so. They're not. They're also pop, right? It's not like
Yeah.
all hip hop, but in terms of like artists, yeah, they're a top 10 artist in the game,
hmm
I would say. Um, and then there's still guys like Kanye West, like
Oh yeah.
he's putting out great music as well. Eminem is sticking around as well. I think he released a song recently. I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah. Neither have
Um, no, there's a bunch of guys, and there's new guys too. You know, Nav has really stepped up his
I.
game.
Oh yeah.
Um, I like listening to 88 Glam.
I've never heard of him.
They're good. Check them out. They got a
Oh,
couple good songs.
okay.
Um, yeah, there's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of
Mhm.
good guys out there. I would say that Travis is definitely top 10, and
Easily.
it's too bad that we haven't heard, I guess, a great song like Sicko Mode come out in the past 2 years. I know it's tough to top it, but
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, you know, he surprises us with a good song. Also, Drake put out an album this past year as well, that had some pretty good songs on it as well. I like listening to Time Flies. I want to look up the name of the album. I always forget it. Drake album release date. No. I don't know where it is. But yeah, there's Dark Lane demo tapes. He released that in May as well, so not too long ago. But a song that stuck out to me about in that album was Time Flies, and that's one that I can relate to as well a lot. There's a couple bangers on that. So Drake's sticking around. I don't know if he's got another album coming out this year, maybe next year. I know he's been really busy. Ever since the Raptors won the championship, I think he's really wanted to put out some good quality music. I think he's done 2 albums since then. But we'll see what's in store for Drake coming up in the next year, I guess. And that really does it for the show. Talal, you got anything else you want to say, touch on?
Not much, other than I think, it's hard to pick up best hip-hop artist in the game.
Yeah.
I was still thinking about that.
Yeah, there's probably names that we like forgot to mention.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Travis Scott, Drake, Kanye, but there's other guys as well that we're forgetting.
There's a lot.
Even a guy like X, we talk about Juice, how he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
XXX, he had some phenomenal songs. My dad all of a sudden put on Sad like a couple days ago. I think by accident, but it was just funny listening to that. I was like, why are you listening to this? Like, do you know who this is? But no, he's the guy that we need to remember as well.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, it's just all tying back to what we talked about at the beginning with Juice. Legends never die. And that's what Juice has really taught us through his music, talking about his experiences. So shout out to him. And I want to thank him for all of his hard work that he did while he was still here, making sure that his fans, would listen to his music even after he was gone. And, that's legacy right there. That's legacy defining. And that's what he's going to be remembered for, making an impact, even, when he's not here anymore. So shout out to him. Talal, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Well, no, thanks for coming on. Because this is a music podcast, not a big music expert. Like I said, sports is my thing. But I want to thank Talal. He had some phenomenal input today. I think it's a really good episode. So I hope you guys like it. Talal, anything else you want to say, shout out before leaving here?
Nothing much. No.
Nothing much.
No.
All right. Sick. That's it for the show then. I want to thank you guys for listening. Thanks again, Talal. You guys, like I said at the beginning, can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, a bunch of different platforms. We're going to be back with another episode coming soon. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week. Definitely next week. But maybe, if I have the time, I can put one out again this week. A lot of stuff in sports to talk about. So thanks for hanging in there throughout this episode. Hope it was a good music episode. And that's it. We'll see you guys later.